Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on your MTN statewide noon news for this Wednesday. I'm Andrea Lutz. New this afternoon, the government shutdown drags on. The Senate has failed for a third to advance a funding bill to open the government. Democrats holding out for an extension to health care subsidies they say will dramatically raise premiums for millions of Americans, which will expire. Meanwhile, 25 states and the District of Columbia are suing the Trump administration over plans to freeze SNAP food assistance payments, arguing the law requires the government to provide those funds for November. 42 million Americans are in danger of losing federal food assistance November 1st. Because of the shutdown. Montana has close to 80,000 SNAP recipients. Now some advocates and lawmakers are calling for Montana leaders to step in and fill the gap temporarily. MTN's Jonathan Andrea is learning what action, if any, Governor Greg Gianforte could take.
Earlier this month, the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services announced that federal authorities had directed states not to issue SNAP nutrition benefits for the month of November during the federal government shutdown. But in some states, leaders have tried to find ways to use local or state money to keep benefits flowing temporarily. Here in Montana, DPHHS reports almost 78,000 people were enrolled in SNAP in September, with an average monthly benefit of $332 per household. Democratic lawmakers say they're hoping the state will tap into some leftover funds to help cover those benefits for now.
Those are 77,000 families who are relying on that food for just basic needs. We believe there are options for some temporary funding to make sure that those SNAP benefits continue, and we really encourage the governor to explore those and take advantage of those options.
The Montana Food Bank Network and other organizations also sent a letter to Governor Greg Gianforte, saying a disruption in SNAP payments would be devastating for families, retailers, and producers. They said, quote, "Ensuring uninterrupted SNAP benefits is not only a matter of compassion, it is a matter of economic stability, public health, and responsible governance." On Tuesday, I asked Gianforte whether his administration was considering using state money to support SNAP. He said he sees it as the federal government's responsibility, and that there's no guarantee the state would be repaid.
This is a federal program, and we need the federal government to fund it. Without any promise of reimbursement, there's really no way for the state of Montana to do that.
Like congressional Republicans, Gianforte has blamed Democratic senators for holding up a funding extension.
In the meantime, if they continue trying to extort $1.5 trillion from the taxpayers of America, I just encourage Montanans to do what they can in their communities through their local food bank to make sure food stays on the table here in the state.
In a letter shared by DPHHS, federal authorities said people who receive SNAP will be able to continue using the benefits that have already been issued on their electronic benefit transfer card prior to November 1st, but that no new benefits will be issued until the shutdown is resolved. In Helena, Jonathan Andrea, MTN News.
Currently, a cold front is pushing across Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. It's bringing a lot of wind, but limited amounts of precipitation. We've had some light snow showers and some light rain showers in northwestern Montana. A couple trace amounts of rain around the Flathead Airport, or the Glacier Airport in Kalispell. Also some rain showers around Missoula. Trying to get those clouds toward Helena and Butte, but a lot more clouds than actual precipitation. And we have more clouds pushing through eastern Montana. We have some very strong wind gusts, incredibly strong. I'll have any details about that and when the next chance for some more rain and so is going to get here, as well as your forecast all the way through next week coming up.
This afternoon, a Belgrade neighborhood still shaken after an officer-involved shooting that left one person dead and an officer injured. It is a tragedy rippling through law enforcement agencies across Montana. MTN's Megan Elaine spoke with neighbors who witnessed the chaos and what police say led to the gunfire.
Currently on this very quiet neighborhood here in Belgrade off of Crockett Way. And as you can see behind me, some caution tape is over here because an officer-involved shooting Monday night has left this quiet neighborhood in a little bit of disarray.
There's no way I moved out here to a nice quiet place and then this happens like a month in.
Freddie Weisbrod from Seattle says he looked out his window Monday 5 p.m. and saw flashing lights, followed by the sound of gunfire. Now, as the Montana Department of Justice and Gallatin County Sheriff's Office investigate, residents like Freddie are looking for answers.
Officers at the Belgrade Police Department responded to a report of a disturbance on Crockett Way within the city limits of Belgrade.
At Tuesday's press conference, Belgrade Police Chief Dustin Lensing largely reiterated details already released in a statement.
During their response, one of our officers, who was seated in his patrol car, came under heavy gunfire from the suspect. The officer was struck by gunfire and injured.
An assisting Belgrade police officer returned fire, and the suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. The injured officer was taken to Bozeman Deaconess Hospital and later released after receiving medical care. Neighbors say it was a tense and frightening night.
First thing they came up and asked, are we all right? Like, anything hit the house? And I'm like, is the officer good? Because I saw he got shot.
Lensing added that fortunately no one else was hurt.
We're extremely grateful that the officer is recovering and that no members of the immediate public were harmed during the incident.
While investigators work to piece together what led up to the shooting, residents like Freddie say the shooting has shaken their sense of safety.
Kind of makes you second guess yourself. Like, do I need to carry my own personal firearm just walking around in my own neighborhoods?
Lensing says no names or further details will be released at this time, as the investigation is currently underway by the Montana Division of Criminal Investigation.
We will not be fielding any questions at this time, and I thank you all for attending.
In Belgrade, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
An officer shot in the line of duty is a stark reminder of how dangerous the job can be. MTN's Cassidy Powers spoke with local law enforcement about the daily risks they face and the toll it takes on their families.
The officer-involved shooting from Monday night is just one of several that have taken place over the years here in Gallatin County, which raises the question just how dangerous really is a day in the office for law enforcement.
I've been in situations where, yes, I've been shot at.
For 29 years, Dan Springer has worked with the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office. He knows all too well the dangers of being behind a badge. In his time,
I've been about 10 or 12 officer-involved shootings, and of those, about 5 where an officer has been injured.
Springer recalled 2 deadly incidents.
David was killed out in Three Forks. He was a highway patrolman.
In 2010, 23-year-old Montana Highway Patrol Trooper David DeLate stopped to investigate a pickup truck that was idling, leading to a shootout where DeLate was shot and killed.
Mason had a history here in Gallatin County.
In 2017, a similar scenario took the life of Broadwater County Sheriff's Deputy Mason Moore, who was shot and killed after initiating a traffic stop. Monday night, a shooting took place in Belgrade. An officer shot in the line of duty. That officer is currently in stable condition, but that's not always the case. According to the Department of Justice, in 2023, nationwide, 378 law enforcement officers were shot in the line of duty. 46 were fatal.
When we look at what law enforcement does, we know that it's a possibility that you can get in a shooting at any time. It's one of those things that we understand is part of the job.
During Monday night's shooting, the suspect involved in the incident was killed. Incidents like this aren't uncommon in Montana. According to the governor's office, from 2019 to 2023, there were 79 law enforcement involved fatal encounters in Montana. 85% of those deaths were caused by firearms. In recent years, 2 deadly incidents here in Gallatin County. In 2023, 39-year-old Michael Rogel was shot and killed in his car by Bozeman police officers. October 2024, 29-year-old Rick Alistair Newman was killed by law enforcement in the parking lot of a shopping complex in Bozeman.
These kind of things may occur. We don't want them to happen. No one goes on shift with the intention of shooting someone that day. But we also know that if those things are aimed at us, then they're not being aimed at someone in the general public.
Never knowing when you could take away a life or when yours could be at stake. A job that takes a toll, according to Springer, which is why he says ample training and ensuring law enforcement agencies have enough resources is vital.
Our job is to keep the peace, and sometimes that's us putting ourselves in the line of danger. We know that that is part of the job. And if that means that we're able to save someone and we can stop the threat so that they're not hurting an innocent, that is our job.
In Gallatin County, Cassidy Powers, MTN News.
The University of Montana cutting ties with a business professor after he was charged with criminal endangerment. Court documents show 61-year-old Anthony Politz pulled a gun on another man outside a fight at the Florence Bar back in August. Witnesses told investigators Politz went to his vehicle, grabbed a handgun, fired a shot into the air, then pointed it at the man. officials have confirmed he is no longer employed with the university. His former class is now being led by another professor. In a statement to MTN, spokesperson Dave Kuntz said the university cannot discuss private matters concerning employees. The class will continue this semester with an experienced instructor who will ensure all learning objectives are met. A political battle is brewing over Montana's teacher conferences. Republican leaders say they've become too woke, while organizers call those claims flat out false. MTN's Hannah Pettiferi looks at what sparked the debate and what's really happening inside those classroom sessions.
It's 2 days on every school calendar that students eagerly look forward to. A 2-day break from school for Montana teachers to attend educator conferences. But this long tradition could soon be a practice of the past if Republican leadership has its way.
They have PRR days and do training, and there was a lot of fully charged political agenda that was being taught at that.
That's Montana Senate President Matt Rieger, who is sounding the alarm on what he calls woke teacher conferences, and proposing a bill in the next legislative session that would end the practice of teachers receiving educational credit at these conferences, citing concerns over what teachers are being taught.
There are 6 LGBT modules with gender unicorn, which includes discussion of physical sexual attraction. I mean, this is going to grade schoolers. DEI and art, a panel with nude children describing the censorship as a dangerous place.
Rieger is referencing a 2024 presentation titled LGBTQ State of the State, a panel focused on gender and how students choose to identify.
There's audio recordings of, once again, liberal policies that are being pushed, and sexualized pictures and gender, DEI. All of that was still being pushed on our public teachers once again.
But the Montana Federation of Public Employees, the largest union of public employees, says that couldn't be farther from the truth.
The curriculum groups decide which courses they're going to offer, and the teachers put a lot of time and thought and energy into preparing these sessions.
MFPE President Amanda Curtis says the conferences are designed in collaboration with the Office of Public Instruction and are approved by the Montana Superintendent's Office.
The educator conference is being completely misrepresented.
She says that MFPE coordinates with curriculum groups and hundreds of teachers.
We had 320 sessions where Montana teachers were providing best practices for professional development.
And those educators are already working to plan next year's conference, a conference that Curtis insists is not focused on controversial policies, but rather best practices taught for decades.
They're presenting lessons and presentations to help teachers help kids learn the best that they can.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.
The earliest those allegations can be debated is at the state legislative session in 2027.